32,000 feet over Pennsylvania, a window disappears. A woman is pulled halfway out of the airplane, and the only person who can save the passengers behind her is a fighter pilot who was never supposed to fly commercial planes. This is the story of the engine that blew apart mid-flight and the investigation that uncovered something nobody expected. April 17th, 2018. Southwest Airlines Flight 1380, New York's LaGuardia to Dallas. A routine Tuesday, a full plane, nothing unusual. Then, about 20 minutes in, climbing through 32,000 feet, something inside the left engine simply let go. A single fan blade, one of 24, spinning thousands of times a minute, snapped at its root from a hairline crack invisible to the naked eye. The engine tore itself apart. Pieces of the shattered casing slammed into the fuselage. A cabin window blew out. The plane depressurized instantly. Passengers screamed. Oxygen masks dropped. And Jennifer Reardon, a mother of two from New Mexico, was pulled partway out of the aircraft by the force of the decompression. Two passengers grabbed her. They fought to pull her back inside a plane tearing itself apart at altitude. Up front, the flight deck alarms were shrieking. The aircraft was rolling hard to one side, and the captain had seconds to figure out why. Everyone assumed they already knew what had happened. They didn't. It would take investigators over a year to find the real reason a woman died that day. And when they did, it changed how every jet engine on Earth is built. The captain's name was Tammie Jo Shults. Before Southwest, she'd been one of the first female fighter pilots in the United States Navy, trained to fly FA-18s in an era when the military barely let women near a cockpit. Nobody on that plane knew it, but the person now flying a crippled Boeing 737 had spent years learning exactly what to do when a machine tries to kill you. She and her co-pilot, Darren Ellisor, fought the controls. One engine was gone. The cabin had lost pressure. Part of the fuselage had been punctured. They had one option: get the plane down, fast. Shults radioed air traffic control in a voice so calm that controllers later said they didn't grasp how serious it was. "We have a part of the aircraft missing," she said, "so we're gonna need to slow down a bit." That single, understated sentence would later be replayed on every news network in America. Below deck, flight attendants moved through a cabin in chaos, oxygen masks swinging, passengers certain they were about to die. One passenger began recording. That video would later be watched by tens of millions of people. Roughly 20 minutes after the explosion, the plane touched down safely in Philadelphia. Everyone survived the landing. 7 passengers were injured. But not everyone survived the flight. Jennifer Reardon died from her injuries. She became the first passenger fatality on a U.S. airline in nearly a decade. For a moment, it looked like the story was over. A tragic mechanical failure, a hero pilot, one devastating loss. It wasn't over. Investigators had only just started asking the harder question. The National Transportation Safety Board pulled the wreckage apart piece by piece. They confirmed the obvious part fast: a fatigue crack, growing silently inside the blade's root for who knows how long, had gone undetected by the standard inspection method used for years. And this was the terrifying part. This exact engine model, the CFM 56-7B, was flying on thousands of aircraft around the world every single day. Within days, the FAA issued an emergency order. Airlines had 20 days to ultrasonically inspect thousands of fan blades on this engine model for hidden cracks. Inspections the standard method had been missing all along. Airlines scrambled. Engines were pulled apart on runways across the country. Blades with invisible fractures were found and pulled from service before they could fail in the air. But then investigators found something nobody expected. For over a year, they kept digging into one specific question: what actually killed Jennifer Reardon? The assumption had always been the obvious one: a piece of the fan blade itself flying loose at incredible speed. It wasn't. When the NTSB released its final report in November 2019, it revealed that the fatal blow came from something else entirely. A piece of the engine's outer covering, torn free by the force of the blade failure, that struck the fuselage right beside the window. The blade had started the disaster, but it was the engine's protective housing, the part designed to contain exactly this kind of failure, that hadn't held. That distinction mattered enormously. It meant the danger wasn't just a cracked blade somewhere inside an engine. It was a design assumption baked into how these engines were built to survive a blade failure in the first place, an assumption that had just been proven wrong, fatally, at 32,000 feet. The NTSB didn't stop at recommending better blade inspections. It called on Boeing to redesign the fan cowl on every 737 next-generation aircraft, new planes and planes already flying, to withstand exactly the kind of impact that had just killed someone. Investigators closed their report. The rule changes took effect. The headlines faded. But something had shifted permanently in the industry. For decades, jet engines were treated as nearly infallible, tested for exactly this kind of failure, built to contain it. Flight 1380 proved that even a machine engineered to survive a broken blade could still let a fragment through in a way nobody had planned for. Fan blades in that engine family are inspected differently today because of what happened over Pennsylvania. And the covering around them is being redesigned because of what investigators found more than a year later, long after most people had stopped paying attention.
Tammie Jo Shults never wanted to be called a hero. She said she was just doing her job. But her calm voice on that radio and the investigators who refused to accept the first obvious explanation are the reason thousands of flights since have landed safely without anyone ever knowing how close they came. Sometimes the most important changes in aviation don't come from the disaster everyone sees. They come from the answer nobody expected, found more than a year later in a report almost nobody read.